This is exactly how I created a test data seeder for Microsoft Fabric. So in this video, I will be showing you how you can seed data into an API. So if you have a bookkeeping service or a CRM, for example, you can start putting data, dummy data into that API in order to have a valid test environment. So I am using Moneybird as my bookkeeping software for my Dutch company. And Moneybird has a great API, so we can extract data out of the API and we can write data into the API. So that's actually amazing. We can also create this dummy environments in which we can then work with an not real administration, and we can use that for testing purposes and so on. And this is amazing because this lets us test the API from a data platform perspective. However, the data in that API or in that dummy administration is very limited, so I wanted to create something that works a little bit better. And together with Claude, I was able to actually create a solution that can seed data into the Moneybird API from a PySpark notebook in Microsoft Fabric. So let's dive right into my laptop to show you how that works. So I started off by asking Claude to read the documentation of the Moneybird API, come up with a strategy and then an implementation using Python to populate the Moneybird test account with a lot of dummy and test data. Now it came up with a strategy that's actually fine. It read the documentation, it found the entries that we can put in. And what I can see here is that in the end we scrapped a lot of the requirements, but at least it's coming up with a lot of the stuff that it needs to do. It will be building a strategy. First it needs to create tax rates and ledger accounts and contacts and products, and then it can start creating transactional data such as sales invoices. So this looks all pretty good, and it created these files with a readme requirements and a seeder document. Now I told it I want to run it from a Python notebook in Microsoft Fabric, and I want to parameterize the input in order to drive more or less volume. Now I've been vibing with Claude for quite a while, as you can see, and in the end it gave me a Moneybird Seeder final notebook, which is a single notebook that I can run. However, I ran into issues. So Claude did not really understand all the metadata that needs to go into a Fabric notebook. It was, I think, taking regular Jupyter notebook definitions, and Microsoft Fabric needs a little bit of additional metadata. So I was talking to Claude Sonnet here, and I wanted to use Opus, which is their better model, their stronger model, in order to really work down the issues that we were having. By doing that, it started a new chat, so that's a bit unfortunate. And here we have it. Here's the new chat. And what I've done, I've entered the notebook that was created by Claude, and I've entered a notebook that I created in the Microsoft Fabric UI in order for Claude to understand what's actually going on here, and it quickly found the differences in some of the setup and syntax and so on. So that actually worked quite well, and now what I've been doing is then testing whether the notebook is actually working, and there were a few errors in the notebook. So for example, the isSupplier parameter was not in the contacts list, or it was given by Claude, but it is actually not in the API, so that threw an error. And then going back and forth through all these errors, it gave me a working solution. Now if we want to see the solution, let's first jump into Moneybird and then dive into the notebook that we have in Fabric. So here we have Moneybird, and Moneybird is just a bookkeeping software, and let's see, I've created a lot of invoices. You see facturen, that's Dutch for invoices, in 2024. Let's open 2025 to confirm there is no data there. And it says there is no invoices from the past year. So it's 2026 right now. And it says here there are no invoices from the past year. It's 2026 right now, so 2025 will be the past year, or afgelopen jaar. All right, that's actually really good. That means that we can go into my other browser, and here we have the Moneybird sandbox seeder, which is a name that Claude came up with. I kind of liked it. It will give us some documentation on how the tool works, but let's dive right in. We have the API token here. You can try it. It's just a demo administration, and I will remove the API token. So please try it, but don't waste your time on it. I've also put in the administration ID, and let's, for the demo right now, put in 2025, and let's see if we can add more contacts. So let's put in 50 contacts, maybe 20 products, 120 sales invoices, and then estimates, purchase invoices, receipts, and time entries. They don't really matter for now because I've disabled those in the actual seeder logic. So that's all pretty good. It will be importing faker. It will be seeding faker with 42, of course, with 42. And we will be getting some guardrails, some cost estimate, and this will give us the amount of hours and minutes that the solution should be running in order to give us a working solution. All right, then the Moneybird client itself, this is the piece of code that Claude created in order to actually run the data. I'm not going to try to explain everything. Even I don't know and understand correctly everything that's going on here. So this is vibe coding to the max. I know a lot about how to set up data platforms. This goes more into object-oriented programming, which is not really something I'm an expert in. I can read the code and I can explain what it does. It works. Trying to write this myself really was not going to work. So vibe coding here with Claude was really, really good. It is then generating some localized data for Dutch cities for company suffixes. And now I'm not quite sure why BV for besloten vennootschap or limited company is here for 1, 2, 3 instances. I don't know. There are some product names here, expense description, project names, and so on. This all looks fine. This is all data platform and Power BI related, so that sounds good. And then here is the actual data generators that are faking the first and last names, postcodes, and so on. That sounds all really good. And here you can see that I disabled the estimates, the purchase invoices, and more. Then the seeder class is being created where we will actually be looking at what ledger accounts are there, what VAT rates or tax rates are there, and then we can create all the information that we need. And again, I disabled, by commenting out these lines, I disabled a lot of the stuff that we're not going to use. Then the run, same thing. We will be creating contacts, suppliers, products, and sales invoices. And that's about it. Then I will let the seeder run and I will print everything that it's doing. So let's hit run all and see what's actually going on. Now scrolling up a little bit here should give us something, and it should also give us an estimate of how long this is going to take. It will be a little bit faster because it's not going through everything that we originally thought it was going to do. But it will be quickly seeding 120 different sales invoices. So that's actually quite cool. And there we go. So setting the parameters or the constant values that will be used. That's all right, really nice. That's nice. And then here's our run plan. It will run for 14 minutes, but in practice it will run much faster than that. I suspect it to run for a couple of minutes. Here we are. It will be, this all looks quite good. So it's checking some prerequisites. It starts creating 50 customers and 10 suppliers. It's also creating 20 products and is now creating 120 invoices. There's some progress here. And it's going in batches of 25, so that's actually really nice. And there is a rate limit, so it's now needing to sleep for 260 seconds. We'll come back when this is done. And here we are back again. The seeding is complete, and let's check Moneybird. Let's see what's going on there. So we are here, and we're again looking at facturen uit het afgelopen jaar, or invoices from the last year, from the previous year. And let's see what's going on there. Hit Command R, and indeed we now see a lot of invoices from the past year. I see 3 pages, and I think that's 3 pages of 30 invoices, or maybe a little bit more. I don't know, it's a bit more. Anyway, it doesn't really matter, and all these invoices now have been created. So here we can see how these invoices are built up. They are getting a reference, they are getting an invoice date and due date. Several different customers will be used to send these invoices to, and we can see that in this case 4 lines with different quantities have been sold. As you can see, we are looking at very different and truly randomized invoice creation process here. And now something that's interesting, if we go back to the notebook, as you can see here, it hit rate limiting and it was sleeping for 260 seconds. So if we go to the Moneybird client here, what's going on is that it will be throttling on the rate window itself. That's something that was built into the solution because we know there is a 150 calls per 300 seconds that we can do. So it will throttle itself if we go over that number of of calls. But then again, it will also tell us that if we receive a status code 429, which means that your API requests are being throttled by the API, then it will also do a retry based on the headers that we get with the retry after parameter that we're getting. So in this case, the retry after was giving us a 260 seconds wait time out of the 300 that we had. So apparently the first 40 seconds were already in progress when we hit the 429. So this is how you can basically vibe code anything that you would want to put into an API. If you have a test CRM or bookkeeping service with a fake administration where you can actually put in data, then Python Faker, Microsoft Fabric Notebooks, and Claude will actually help you to seed that information, to seed that system with information that you can then use for testing purposes. If you like this video, please click like and subscribe to my channel, because by subscribing, you will tell YouTube that you would like to receive a notification whenever I post a new video, and I will be posting a new video every single week. That's my pledge to you as the watcher, as the viewer of this video. My name is Bas Land. I am that Fabric guy, and I will see you next week here on YouTube.